This is a multi-part tutorial of the Emperor's New Groove speedrun. If you have not seen the previous parts, please click here to watch those first. This part will cover Village, Jungle Night, and River. Let's begin by heading over to Village 1 where we can... I know you're all sick of the interruptions and the tangents and just want to go fast as the funny llama, but this is important, so pay attention. We need to talk about the memory leak. As you play the game, some things stored in memory don't get removed when they're done being used. This causes a buildup of RAM until eventually sound effects stop working, music stops working, and eventually you just can't see anything and the game just becomes unplayable. Normally this wouldn't happen in a casual playthrough, but if say you were, spending a long time practicing all the levels then wanted to immediately jump into a run, that would be long enough to cause the leak. This has happened to multiple runners, including myself when I first tried to speedrun the game. Hello? The way to prevent this is simple. Just close and reopen the game anytime you want to start a new run. Okay, sorry. Now the run can properly begin. So we're going to begin on a fresh file. The map screen should have no other levels unlocked except for Village 1. Once you select Village 1, you'll notice this cute little cutscene from the movie shows up. On the PC version, the only way to skip these is to press escape on your keyboard. There's multiple FMVs on certain levels, so I'll point them out when I need to. The actual start of the run is not when you enter the level, but when you first move around in Village 1. If you're using the auto splitter, it should immediately start the timer for you. Begin rolling your way to the left here, making sure not to go near the old man, otherwise you'll be forced to talk to him. Just some basic platforming across the houses and the hills until you reach Pacha, one of Pacha's kids. You'll have to talk to her to activate this button. The jump, action, charge, and look buttons all skip dialogue, so on controller you could just wiggle your thumb all over the buttons. Like that. On keyboard's default controls, dialogue mashing is going to look more like this. We're coming up to our first trick, gate skip. You can jump on the edge of the button and start rolling right when the door opens. You can also do a bunch of rolls like this to do gate skip, which is what I do. You'll need to have your camera facing a little to the left of the door, otherwise it'll open too early. It's very feel-based and it only saves 2 seconds, so if you're having trouble, just pick up the pot. As you cross the gate, you'll touch the nearby checkpoint, which will be handy for later. Now we need to deal with this brat on a bike.
You'll never catch me!
It's best to jump into his cutscene trigger so Kuzco is set up to catch the brat early. Otherwise, rolling into the trigger gets Kuzco turned around, which wastes time. Roll into the charge potion, and with good charge jumping, you should crash into the brat about here. Otherwise, you can just follow the brat on the path until he turns about here where you can crash into him. The brat rewards you with a red idol that can open doors. Instead of using it on the door here, we're actually going to death warp back to that checkpoint we got earlier. Anytime you need the death warp, you always want to jump off the cliff because the game checks how long you were in the air. After respawning, backtrack towards the door and head over to the button near Pacha. From here, a charge jump of faith will land you at the end of the level. If you want a faster way to do this, hold down left and charge as you exit the door. Charge jump at the edge and immediately let go of all movement inputs. Your momentum alone should be enough to land safely. There's an optimization you can do at the end of every level. If you press F4, the game will fade to black and put you back to the map screen. If you do this at the same time the game is ending the level, you will be at the map screen with the next level unlocked. This is slightly faster than going through the normal level complete screen, which if done optimally saves 20 seconds across the entire run. You can press F4 either before or after touching the zone and it will still count. Be careful with this strat, otherwise if you press F4 and don't end the level in time, you will not unlock the next chapter and have to play the previous one again. Another drawback is that you can't save your game if you do this, so if your game crashes, which can happen but it's not something you have to worry about right now, you won't have the safety net to fall back on. It's up to you whether you want to do this for your runs, but 20 seconds isn't a lot compared to the time you'll save just getting better at movement. There's another slight optimization you can do at the start of most levels called buffered rolls. Right before Village 2 starts, hold forward and the action button. This will buffer the input and allow Kuzco to get a roll in the frame the level loads. You can do this on all the levels, but each level has its own unique angle you have to hold to do it correctly. The input display will show the optimal angles for each level as we continue the tutorial.
Demon llama!
To destroy the statues, roll into the tall one, and then jump kick the short one.
Okay, I'll open the door.
There's 2 ways to do this level. I'll show the optimal way first, where we do Bike Kid Skip. Line yourself up so that Cusco faces this spot in the background. Charge jump, and after you reach the peak of your jump, curve up right, and you should land on this cliff. Carefully hug the cliff as you charge jump around it. Once you land on safe ground, press look to center your camera and get your bearings. Here's the skip in full.
Out of my way! Yeah!
Once you get on safe ground, just press the button and go through the gate. This skip gives a lot of new runners trouble, so I'm going to show off the easier path as well.
Checkpoint.
Woo-hoo-hoo! Out of my way! Booyah! Woo-hoo-hoo! Out of my way!
In this final room, hold charge for a little bit, then charge jump to kill the beetle and collect the red idol. Normally this level has us grabbing a potion to turn into a turtle, but we're going to do this level as the llama because llama is good. Grab the 2 pots and place them on these respective buttons. Head up to the gate that just opened, and this next section requires really good charge management. So if you need to, grab 5 coins to increase your charge bar before attempting this next trick. This is optional though, and I will show the rest of the level as if you didn't grab 5 coins. Stand next to this patch of blobs on the grass and line yourself so that Cusco is just behind this one. Line yourself up with the crack in the wall. Roll forward, let go of any movement input, and press look the moment your roll ends. Done correctly, you will enter the secret in first person mode. This makes the camera have to travel towards you instead of immediately teleporting to you. On its way, it sees Kronk, which makes him trigger the race.
Let's have...
If you don't get the glitch and just end up in the bunny secret, just jump off and head back to the crack. Since you have charge now, you could just press charge and look on the same frame to get the glitch easier. Cancel the dialogue and jump off the cliff to deactivate the secret timer. Activate the race again once you respawn. This race will be a good teacher for getting good at charge jumping. If you need to, you can tap charge and jump individually instead of holding charge and tapping jump like I do. Jump on top of this arrow and charge jump across the gap to get a leg up on Kronk. Side note, Kronk moves slightly faster if you play on controller rather than keyboard. So optimally you want to do this race with controller. However, if you're having trouble finishing the race in time, playing on keyboard will give you a few more seconds of leeway. Once you cross the finish line, don't stop moving or make any sudden turns because the win cutscene will activate, and we don't want to do that just yet. Backtrack through the race until you reach the Wampy. Wampies are extra lives and they come in handy for later levels, but right now it lets us do a cutscene skip here. Normally finishing the race plays a cutscene where you watch Kronk throw a hissy fit, give you the red idol, and wait for the llama potion to slowly bounce. However, the Wampy cutscene overrides it, so you will gain control while Kronk is having a tantrum. Charge jump a few times, Kronk will say his dialogue, and then cancel it once you're facing it. He'll toss you the red idol and you can jump to intercept it. Head to the secret to gain some charge, then death warp back. Now we'll do Pacha Skip. Skip all the dialogue and stand still. Listen to the music and wait for a certain point to charge past Pacha.
Huh?
You'll know you did it correctly if Pacha does the head scratching animation. Make sure to just charge until you break the pot, and then you can charge jump. Otherwise, you can bonk and fail to skip.
Stop.
Charging too early will result in Pacha catching you and failing to skip. In that case, it's best to just press F4 to exit the level and try again. If you're charging at the right time and Pacha still isn't doing the head scratch, it might be a memory leak side effect, and you should close and reopen the game to fix it. Alright, from the top.
Yeah.
Goose.
What? Adam.
Once you skip Pacha, just charge jump to the end, where you'll fight Yzma for the first time. If you choose to do the fight normally, have her throw the potion bombs at the buttons in a clockwise order. Once you reach the last button, roll just before the door cutscene plays to get a tiny bit closer to the door. Alternatively, you can skip the fight with a precise clip. Keyboard is recommended for this skip, but it's not necessary. Hold forward into this corner of the statue, and move the camera so that it bumps into the wall. In my case, it's the A key, but it might be different for you. When you let go, keep walking forward for 3 seconds, and then roll. You should see Cusco dip down into the wall. When your roll ends, press the same camera button you used earlier to fully clip into the wall. If you can't get the dip down, that means you're rolling too early or didn't set up your camera properly. If you get the dip down but don't fully clip into the wall, you're mistiming your camera button or not holding pure forward. Here's the skip at full speed. Once you're inside the wall, a roll upwarp will get you over the wall. You need a roll upwarp specifically. Any other upwarp won't get you the height required. Then you just go behind the gate to touch the end trigger. With that, the village world is now complete. Before we move on to Jungle Knight 1, I have to mention that anytime you change worlds, the game will play a cutscene transition to the next world. But don't try to mash and immediately enter the level. If you select the level on the first possible frame, the game will not update the count correctly and put you in Village 1 instead of Jungle Knight 1. Not only is it a waste of time, but you lose any Wampies you collected. Just wait a tiny bit after the camera stops moving to safely enter the next level. Skip the FMV, and as you start Jungle Knight 1, roll in between the trees and the wall to cut straight lines. To skip breaking the tree, charge jump across this gap. The best way to approach this is to be close to the tree and aim for the far right corner. When you place the statue, the door takes a while to open, so roll into it instead of charge jumping. Grab the checkpoint for safety and head towards the waterfall. Stand at this spot and aim towards this green stump here. Charge jump forward and the waterfall will boost you over to the other side. If you're not standing in the right spot or aiming for the right place, you'll get boosted backwards. Too far right and you'll just fall in the pit. Here's the waterfall skip again. There's plenty of health pickups for retrying to skip if you need them. Once you're across the waterfall, you need a red idol from this guard. If he sees you, you will have to jump kick him. If he doesn't see you, you can charge or roll into him to get the idol. Along the way, we're going to collect 10 coins to increase our charge bar, so pay attention to what coins I collect. Make sure to get this gold coin from the guard. You can cut a straight line along this ramp here and grab the charge potion. After placing the last statue piece, roll towards the spider so you can turn it over. This will decrease the chance of it bumping into you later trying to leave the level. Be very mindful of your charge stamina because we're not going to get a refill for a while. So get up here, face the green dot on the wall, and perform an upwarp.
Ha! One rock's not enough to break my new bike!
Checkpoint.
Just before you defeat the brat, roll away from the rock stack to cut the distance you need. Be sure to not be too far away, otherwise you'll get teleported back. After leaving the brat, you can perform another upwarp, but this one is more tricky. You're aiming for this jagged edge on the wall, and you want your camera to be facing this way. It won't work if you're too straight on with the wall.
Out of my way!
Place the first red idol on the door and head down the other path. The better your charge jumps are, the more time you can shave off in this level. Head down to this pit and go into the corner where you can perform another upwarp, then jump up again to get to the top. Any method of upwarp will work as long as you face the corner. Remember to re-hold forward as soon as you jump. If you hold neutral for too long, you won't get enough momentum to reach the higher ledge. This upwarp in particular is called fish skip because you skip having to get the balloon from the fish to make that ride work.
Llama coming through! Out of my way! Llama coming through! Out of my way!
Jump out in this direction to damage boost across the water.
Woo-hoo-hoo!
For the next one, a charge jump can make it all the way across.
Llama coming through!
Hopefully you have some charge jumps left to get the red idol quickly.
Booyah!
If you fall in any of these pits, you can do an upwarp similar to fish skip. This guard is very annoying to deal with. Head straight for him on the left, then swerve to the right at the last second to juke him. After skipping the FMV, we have to dash away from these jaguars. The same button mashing that you do for skipping dialogue will also work in this level to go fast. To steer, just tilt the stick up or down, or use the up and down arrow keys. Make sure you grab this Wampy near the end of the track. At this point in the run, you should have 2 Wampies entering River 1. River throws a new gameplay style as Cusco and Pacha are tied to a log, and are constantly being pushed by the current. Hold forward with the current and try to keep your turns as soft as possible. There are obstacles constantly in our way, but we'll just tank the damage so we can do the best path. Collect bananas along the way to restore any health you lose.
Have you tried pulling back yet? Tasty.
This is where the Wampies we collected will come in handy. If you lose all your health, you'll just lose a Wampy but not lose any progress.
Tasty.
Take the right path here to get the Wampy.
Yum yum. Ow. Tasty. Crocodile. Ow! Yum yum. Ow! Ow! Yum yum.
River 2 throws in these whirlpools that will slow you down. Whenever you need to go through a whirlpool, go in the direction that it's spinning and mash jump. Grab the Wampy at the start here.
Wampy. Slow down there, Speedy. We want to see next level too, you know. Have you tried going back yet? Yum yum. Ow! Oh yeah. Crocodile. Oh yeah. Ow! Slow down there, Speedy. We want to see next level too. Crocodile.
At the end of the level, we have to fight some crocodiles. They spawn the same pattern every time, and the pattern repeats. The brat from before is now on a little balloon floaty. Stay ahead of the brat as much as possible because he'll speed up to try and catch you, and the race only ends when the brat crosses the finish line. Don't worry if you start to fall behind. This race is very easy to beat as long as you don't fall behind right next to the finish line. At this exit, quickly head left to cut off the brat. He'll bump into you and give you a nudge forward. Same thing here, but this one's more tricky. Stay to the right, let the brat pass you, then quickly cut him off over to the left.
That's better.
After crossing the finish line, put yourself in front of the brat's final position for a little optimization. River 4 has another Yzma fight where you deflect the balloons she throws into the gate. Shoot every balloon as they appear. The balloons that spawn on the right will have to be shot an extra time so they head straight for the gate. You might get lucky and the left balloons won't explode early, and that can destroy the gate faster. Try not to have a balloon explode while one is spawning, otherwise that one will just vanish completely. And with that, the first 3 worlds are complete and your speedrunning journey is getting a nice start. But we still got a long way to go. If you're ready to move on, grab your llama hat and head over to the next part where we'll cover Jungle Day and Mountain.
Let's have a look-see.
What the? I've never seen that in my life.